Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to episode 26 of Auntie Listen. And we are going to start with our quotes. We all should know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry, and we must understand that all of the threads of the tapestry are equal in value, no matter what their color. And that quote is from Maya Angelou. So, what do you guys think of the quote?
I was waiting to see which person of color um, that quote was by. Not saying that other people wouldn't come up with that, but I that's just what came across my mind.
Mm, okay. Michelle, any thoughts on it?
Oh, I just love Maya Angelou. Anything she writes is brilliant. Yes. Yeah. Um, I am a big fan of hers.
Yeah, she is a very beautiful
A
poet.
phenomenal woman, just like her
I do,
poem.
yeah, I do enjoy her work. Since Auntie Marva isn't with us today, I will be doing the announcement. So I'm going to go into that. Disclaimer: this content is for entertainment purposes only, and keep an ear out because Auntie Listen will be adding a weekly show in the near future. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. You can follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, X, formerly known as uh, Twitter. I almost said tweet because I couldn't remember, and TikTok. And you can follow our affiliate links to help fund the podcast at we're on Amazon, Bed Bath and Beyond, Target, Walgreens, Walmart. And if you have some content that you feel very passionate about, you can put that content up on the Great Discovery and share your hobbies or love for whatever it is that you like. And or if you're interested in learning something new, you can take free classes or paid classes at the Great Discovery, and you will find those links in in our description. Oh, and don't forget about your merch. You can get your merch at Auntie Listen on myshopify.com. Now we're going to head over to food around the world. We are going to the United Kingdom and we're going for breakfast or tea time. And we're going to have a crumpet. A crumpet is a quintessential British tea time treat. Crumpet is a small round bread or cake that is traditionally cooked in a special crumpet ring or on a griddle. It is typically prepared with flour, milk, or water and yeast, though sugar, salt, and baking powder or baking soda are also often added to the combination. Crumpets are recognized for their smooth round bottoms that are in stark contrast to their unique surfaces, which are dotted with dozens of tiny holes. This traditional specialty is usually enjoyed for breakfast or as an afternoon tea treat, typically slathered with butter, jam, honey, or golden syrup. I love crumpets. They're like my favorite. Have you guys ever had a crumpet?
No, Auntie, and it's not even surprising that you have. I don't. It's not. Well, you know what? I think that I have. Except we call them biscuits. I don't know. Every time
Mm,
I've heard crumpet,
I
it just
have had
reminds
a
me of a biscuit.
crumpet.
You have. Well, since when
Yes.
did you have a crumpet? And you call me because you know I like
Um,
snacks.
I went to it was a bakery and they sell the crumpets in because I always heard about crumpets. I wanted to taste one. This one right here, particularly, they put chocolate chips in it. It was actually good
Is
and
it
it
like
was
a
warm
biscuit?
and it was yeah,
It's a,
it was a biscuit.
it was a biscuit. Okay.
I don't want to because I don't want to sound rude to them people. Like
Well, that's
you know,
not. It's just that
I
that's what
don't
we call it.
know because they call it crumpet. We call it a
A
biscuit.
biscuit. Yeah, it's not
but
real.
Auntie,
no,
what you
It's
think?
different.
no, no,
It's not.
because it doesn't have a top and a bottom like a biscuit. It's, so think of a English muffin, but just like one, like but
But
like
it tastes like a biscuit, Auntie,
but
to
like
me.
But
but
it
like
depends on which biscuits you have, because our grandma's biscuits, they don't come apart like what you just said, a top and a bottom. They're
yeah.
one
So,
thing,
so
like what you
think
just described, actually.
yeah, think of like an English muffin, but just the top part of an English muffin, but
And when you just said, because I
fluffy.
have heard the people over in, I think British people, and I be
Yeah.
following them, they talk about crumpets all the time. That's how we be wanting to try this stuff. Cause
Hmm.
and I was surprised when they had put some chocolate chips up in there. I was like, hold on, let me try this. And it was good because it was warm and the chocolate was pouring in it. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you. It was good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they are really good, and you can have them a lot of different ways. There is a shop in Seattle, Washington. They make really good crumpets, and I went there for breakfast with my friend, and I got the salmon crumpet, and it was so good. Well,
I
Salmon.
heard those are good, as well as they say try it with the blueberries inside of it. Have you tried it like that? Because I heard good things about that way
not
with the blueberries
yeah, I haven't tried it
in it.
with the blueberries. I haven't I've only had them with savory items, not so much with like dessert or sweet items.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Well, I would
Yeah.
love to try the one with the salmon in it because that do sound good.
Yeah, it's really really good. Okay, so we're staying in England, but we're gonna add Scotland because this dish is popular in both, and it is sticky toffee pudding. And sticky toffee pudding is a rich, moist sponge cake filled with dates covered in a sticky toffee sauce. The dessert is traditionally served with custard or a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the side. Its origins are quite murky, as some claim it originates from the Sharrow Bay Hotel in the Lake District. Some report that is especially popular in Cartmel, while others say that it was invented at the Nudney Arms Hotel in A- Aberdeenshire. So, would you guys try the sticky toffee pudding
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
try it.
yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, I would try anything one time.
Hmm.
one time?
Yeah. Sounds very sweet.
It does
Yeah, it
sound
sounds
very
real
sweet.
sweet, but it sounds like you gonna need to stay home with all them prunes up in it. Oh, I mean dates. What it
Dates.
was the
Yeah.
dates in it?
All that
Yeah,
sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah. Gonna.
I don't think I
yeah.
would leave home that day, but I tried.
I thought you didn't want to offend the people.
Well, I didn't mean to. I ain't say it like that. I mean,
Just
my
speaking the
body.
truth.
That's for my
Anyway,
body. That's for my body. They ain't for
right.
everybody
We're
body.
we're
But
in them older
all I'm
ages
saying,
now where we can be real. So yeah,
R-
yeah.
I was just
right.
teasing.
I think
Ex-
it sounds delicious, but I don't think it's almost like going to Burger King. It's just what it is.
Right. So our topic this month is um, Auntie Janisha's topic, and her topic is isolation, inclusion, insertion, and inclusion. So
Insulation, I think, was the last
insulation,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this when trying to research this topic, it kept wanting to give me home improvement um sites, and I had to dig really, 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 really deep to find topics that to find something that related to what we were talking about. And so AI figured out what I was looking for, because um this is what AI came up with. It says feeling alone even when surrounded by family is a common experience with various potential causes and possible solutions. Understanding the root of the feeling and taking steps to address it can be helpful. And so it gave some possible causes. So the first one was emotional distance, unmet needs, social isolation, personal struggles, family dynamics. So, what do you think of just that portion of what AI had to say about this topic? Auntie Janisha.
Well, that is where okay, I will say this for the listening audience. Um, when I often am anxious to see what you'll come up with when I give you a topic, right? It's not always that we give you a topic and then we give you all the points that we would like to hit.
Right.
And I know from my perspective, I like to kind of be surprised with your questions and also some of the information, right? Because I
Right.
have an idea for myself of what I of the topic that I proposed. But
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying that for the listeners about our lack of preparation. It is intentional, um, at least for my standpoint.
For your
So now,
standpoint. Okay.
yes, and exactly what you just asked about AI, that is really what I was thinking about. Um, just being out here, which we've discussed before, just being out here. Um, if you've been a listener, family out there, then you know that a couple of us here are truck drivers, right? And even Auntie Destiny lives in the Pacific Northwest, far away from the other aunties on the broadcast. So isolation is a thing, you know, and AI was kind of spot on with what I was thinking for those four as a group.
Okay. Okay. Auntie Michelle.
Yeah. I was just was concerned when you were saying the different things of why people isolate themselves. But I mean, I do it because it feels good and it's peaceful. But I don't have no
Exactly.
issues with because I mean when I'm gonna bring it up, Aquarius love being alone. That's a trait, and I don't mind. I like talking to myself. I like having fun and enjoying myself. Especially when I understood how to do it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
first it felt kind of funny, like because I felt different, like I was um disincluding other people. But
Mm-hmm.
that's like a big trait that people like persons be ignoring you. No, it's like that's when we do our best thinking. It's part of how I grow. And it don't have nothing to do with nobody. It don't have I really don't try to um offend people when I do that. It's just a part of the way I have to take on being who I am, being the
Right.
higher of myself. It don't have nothing to do with all of that what you said, not at all. But I
Right.
mean, I'm not saying that's not what other people do it for, because it's stuff out here that people be fighting by themselves, in silence.
Right. Right. And so these are the potential solutions that AI came up with. Open communication, seek support, engage in activities, build connections, self care, seek professional help, remember you're not alone, and to consider family therapy. So, what do you think about that portion of what AI had to say about this topic? Do you agree, disagree? Do you do it?
Oh no, I don't know who's supposed to speak, but I'll speak up and say this. If you feeling depressed, if you feeling unwanted, if you say something. Go to people, go keep going. If the first counselor don't work out, if the first group of anything, go to churches, they have them available. Any type of therapy, they have hotlines. Reach out for help. Do not try to fight it by yourself. I have had to do that. I done went to therapy. I'll be the first one to tell you it's good, it's great. I was picked on when I did it by people you think will support you. Not, I'm not calling no names, but I'm just saying people will taunt you for seeking out for help. No, you do what is necessary for you, your health, and your growth. No, become a better you, whatever that looks like.
Auntie
I
Jenny.
think that's a yes.
Oh, sorry, Auntie Michelle. I thought you were done.
I am.
Okay, okay, Auntie Janisha.
I would say all of the above. I've also done those things. I also sit in silence a lot first. I stew over stuff. And one thing that I've found that I always have to make sure I'm balancing is because I'll take things on myself saying that it is my fault. And what
Mm,
I've had to come to terms with is picking out the parts that probably was my fault or maybe was my fault. Just
okay,
separating it because we can't take responsibility for other people's actions and even their responses when you misact, right? It's still
right.
their response to whatever you did, even if you were at fault. So, yeah, but contemplation first, and then I will go and speak with the people. I've never had a problem really with communication for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, counseling, definitely, that's been a thing for me.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
So
that's what I went to school for.
yeah. So this this topic pretty much came up because Auntie Janisha and I were having a conversation about how I um, feel like I'm not a part of, like, I feel like I'm an outsider um, on my maternal side of the family. And there's like maybe and there's only 4 or 5 people outside of my immediate family that I speak with, but everyone else I don't I don't really care about, you know, and don't associate with. I shouldn't say I don't care about them. I should just say I don't associate with them because they don't respect me. They don't respect my boundaries, and they and they tend to be negative, and I'm not about that negativity. And I'm more about building building people up instead of just dictating to them and tearing them down. So, but I've always felt isolated on that side of the family. I never felt included. So while I was researching this topic, I came across this article, and this article was put out by the Council on Aging, and it's called Over 60 and Lonely. And it says, "You're not alone." And this article was published in February 22 of, um, of 2023. And I'll have the link in the description. And it says, according to the US Census Bureau, 11 million or 28% of people aged 65 and older live alone. Although many of these older adults don't feel lonely or socially isolated, studies have shown that 43% of adults aged 60 and older say they're lonely, even when some are surrounded by family and friends. This may lead to a decline in cognitive abilities and increased risk of dementia, depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Social Social isolation and loneliness may result in outcomes beyond poor mental health. Recent studies found that a lack of solid relationship, social relationships. So, Auntie Janisha, what do you think of this article?
Um, the whole time you were reading it, I was thinking about we're not even that old, but
I
I
am.
see. I thought about that, but still, because you're more one of us, Auntie. So I don't ever think of you as being your age, which is wild. But um, I was saying that because I can relate to those feelings, even though yes, I'm not that old, right? I'm not of that age yet.
Right.
And all of my life, I've felt that because I'm the oldest of my siblings, and the ones that grew up in the house with me are much younger. So I still
Mhm.
felt like an only child in a lot of ways, even though they were right there. Um, but it's very easy to mask.
Yes.
And then the other thing that I was thinking about too is um, why I'm intentional, which is it's a part of my nature to be who I am to the young people in the family. But also I think about if I'm not nice to them, not spoiling, but like pleasant in reaching out to them, whatever. And there's no guarantee that they're gonna reciprocate as they get older. They still may forget about you. But I think I have this joke that I say, well, somebody might end up feeding me pudding, right? And I
Mhm.
have to think about who that will be and what they might be putting in my pudding. So I do have to invest in the young people around me because those are generally the ones that abandon us as older people because we tend to lose people along the way, our people, our peers. And then we're left with younger people to see after us or come to visit us or all the things, right? So
Mhm.
I actually have been thinking about that like since I had grandkids. It's like 2017. I think about those types of things. So yeah, I'm approaching 60 in about 8 years, and yeah, I will be there. But those thoughts are here now.
Okay. Auntie Michelle.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna ever be alone. My kids are attached to my hip. Grandkids love me. I don't see myself going out alone. My siblings, them. Them right there, them bullies. Yeah, they don't know how to leave me alone either, even when I want to be alone. So I don't see myself being alone. You know, I really don't see that. Even in my older me, I mean, I don't know. But as I like my kids, they are so serious about me, so I don't see that part. But I wanted to ask you a question. In that article, it says it can lead on to dementia. So dementia is not a past. It's not a I have always thought and what I have read, it can be passed on into generation, like a you
Genetics.
know, genetics. Yeah, genetics. So it really can be brought on by other genes because that part kind of just stood out to me, and I just wanted a little more insight on that.
Yeah, yeah. When I read that, that threw me as well. I was like, oh wow, you know. Um, yeah, but I could see that in in some people, you know. Um, but I wonder for those of us who like being alone and don't mind being alone and are actually thrive when we're alone, how those cognitive um, abilities affect us.
Right. So yeah, I was thinking about that too. Throughout this conversation, like, okay, y'all got me thinking, like, as I grow older, because I like being alone now. How do that look for me 10, 20 years from now? Because that'll be my 60-ish mark. So
Right.
I will
what do
say
that
that
look like for me?
that's kind of why my thinking has been like that, because I go off by myself too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of been a loner. If and I always say this, Auntie Michelle called me some weeks ago and asked, "Do you think you would be friends with your siblings if we weren't siblings?" And it was a quick no for me because I am kind of a loner. I love the
Mm-hmm.
hey, how you doing, all the initial stuff, but I'm not a um, keep it up person. Like
Right.
it, I love to set it up. I can come in a place, set the whole thing up, not feel the way about it. Everybody having fun, and then I leave. I remember cooking big meals when my siblings used to visit my house when I was a younger mom,
Mm-hmm.
and Auntie Michelle will tell you I would cook sometimes and go in my room and they have the kitchen and the living room because I don't know, I think the energy was always a lot for me.
Yeah.
And so again though, that's why another reason why I think the way I do, I know it is because I have to make sure it's just one more thing I have to balance. I
Yeah.
will isolate myself, and if I let it go too far, I could isolate myself into unwanted isolation
Mm-hmm.
because nobody wants to be forgotten about, even when we are people that like our alone time. You don't want to imagine that people just don't care. And
Right.
that's a part of that, your mind playing those games with you. I'm not sure exactly what's happening in the mind of people that experience dementia. I mean, I know what it is, but sometimes they are fully there and aware. So
Yeah.
what is it that they're hearing? Like if people aren't able to get responses out of them that they would want or know how to deal with, then they tend to maybe stay away a little more because I don't know how to deal with mama or uncle so and so like this. They're not their usual, and I don't really know what to do with them. So I really don't come around as much. That doesn't mean that people suffering dementia can't think through that. Their mind
Right.
isn't telling them that someone isn't, they just don't care, right? Um,
Right.
and so again, and then to going back to the truck driving thing, even that again at this age, in trying to date, I've had people, even not even dating, but just friends who, like I said, I can be verbal when I feel like it after I've thought it through and hold a real conversation with you. Um, it's been that you don't even call and check on me. Like I'll call and check on people, and I'm out here out and about. People don't know my well being, but I'll call and check on people at home,
Yeah.
and especially when it's someone that I'm trying to date or get to know, a male. It's come up a few times with different ones, and they will say, "Well, it's because I know you and your sisters. Y'all are about it. Y'all get things done." Or I know you're strong and whatever. And that's a total put off
Right.
because my show of strength then also is something that sometimes isolates me because people think I'm good, so they won't check in.
Right.
So that's another thing.
Yeah. I tend to, but I think, I don't know if that's more of a Capricorn thing because I'm the same. When I was renting a room in a house, although I had access to the whole house, I pretty much just stayed in my room. And the only time I came out of my room was to either to go to the bathroom or to cook a meal or to go to school or work. But when I was at the house, I was in my room. Even if there was no one else in the house, I was still just in my room. And when you were talking about, people not wanting to visit people with the dementia thing, it made me think about my daughter when we got the diagnosis that my mom had dementia, and I had to call her, and I called her, and I was like, so just so there may be times when you go see her, and she's not going to know who you are, just to prepare her. And although I prepared her for it, when she went to visit her and she didn't and and her grandmother didn't recognize her, she called me in tears. Um, because it was just so devastating for her that that she didn't recognize her, and it was around her birthday so that even compounded more on it. But when she went to go see her a few days later, she not only did she recognize her, she wished her happy birthday. So you know,
Mm.
she's gonna, and I was like, yes, it's gonna be like that. It isn't gonna get better. She's gonna have her good days, she's gonna have her bad day, and today was a bad day. I said, you can go tomorrow, and tomorrow might be a good day, you know. Um, and so I don't want you to think that I was just all about my age. My age
Oh,
group.
no, 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 not at all.
No, no,
Not
no,
at
no,
all.
no, no,
But
no,
that's
no,
that's
no, no,
good.
no, no, no,
Yes.
no, 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 no. I'm getting ready to say because that was it for that part. Um, this next article that I found was put out um on a blog. It's called psychcentral.com, and they did an article on childhood neglect. And their article is 6 ways you may have been raised to feel alone. And this article came out, and actually the article did it, but the research study was done in late 2016, and it was conducted by the Red Cross in Great Britain. And I'll just read you a little bit. I'm not going to read the whole article, but it says, um, in late 2016, the Red Cross conducted a research study on loneliness in Great Britain. Their findings stunned the world. Approximately one fifth of the population of the UK reported persistent feelings of loneliness. And then you could read the rest of the article, but then these are the 6 things that it gave. It says families who ignore or dismiss emotions tend to have few meaningful conversations. Number two, children who grow up with their feelings ignored or discouraged automatically wall their feelings off to survive. Number three, when you grow up with your feelings ignored, you receive a subliminal message each and every day your feelings don't matter. Number four, hidden in the CEN, child, and that stands for childhood emotional neglect, message that there is something wrong with your feelings is another message that there is something wrong with you. Number five, when you look to your parents for emotional help as a child, as all children naturally do, you were repeatedly disappointed. And then the last one, number six, childhood emotional neglect is often very difficult to see or remember, even after you realize it's at work in your life. It can be hard to explain it to others. So, Auntie Janisha, when you were growing up, did you experience any of these six?
All of the above. And skipping all the way to the last thing that you said, as of yesterday, I actually cut ties with a friend because of that. There was a boundary violation repeatedly, and I was accused of not expressing something going on with me related to this. And I was recapping how there have been times where we'd be right at the door of it or something related, and it always got turned back on me because they went into defense mode when I was just trying to express something. It had nothing to do with them, right?
Right.
Anyway, we just parted ways. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Auntie Michelle?
Yeah, that's something you kind of have to heal from. I know when I did my shadow work, it was within the first year going into my introduction to my transition into healing. I
Mm-hmm.
remember going into meditation and realizing I did fight with that a lot. And then, but as you go on, you remember like a lot of times the parents was busy. A lot of parents don't even know how to show feelings because nobody taught them. So you just, it's like the generational curse thing. But
Mm-hmm.
um, when I went in to forgive through the forgiveness of myself and others, on that note,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that I was able to do it for my kids, they'll be available. Now, what I will say with that is, um, because I'm a loner, my kids tend to be like, hey, mommy, they come in and they always like, they will come to mom and they'll be like, mom, you really like they kind of know, like to the point they know me. And because me on the phone, he's like, you think about that business, ain't him? You think about that business idea. I'm like, yeah. They know when I'm, checking out on something. And 9 out of 10 is me trying to come up with an idea for a business or something along that. I'm trying to come up with a solution on something. And they
Mm-hmm.
really know. So it's important to really communicate that with your kids because I explain them. I'm very in depth of explaining myself to everybody who I am and how I operate, so they won't feel a certain type of way. And I think we take that away from people of just giving them a little bit of knowledge. I always try to explain it like my own siblings, Auntie Janisha, Auntie Ma. They know me. They know when the kind of like Auntie Janisha called it out. She was like, "You're a horrible listener." And I was like, yeah, I'm working on that because she was like, I can tell when you check out. But she was like, I'm okay with it because I just want to vent. You know what I'm saying? And it can be detrimental to people. And you're not really trying to hurt people. It's just something you done kind of got used to. It's a bad habit. because it do kind of make you a bad person, bad friend, bad family member to people. And that's why I be like, I'm so sorry. And most of them like, no, it's okay, because but it's not okay. And I don't like that part, because I don't want nobody to feel that part, because I know what that feeling is. Again, when I went into meditation, realized I had to heal that part of me, of being kind of neglected, or when you're trying to express yourself, just shut up and do what I say. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things can be kind of, cause the that, and you now you don't know it's in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not really. It's a subconscious now. You don't put it back. It's a memory. And you have to go try to draw that out. And those things are, because you don't remember those little tiny moments, but those little tiny moments equals up to really adult um adult habits.
You're right.
So yeah, we you have to be very careful with that. So yeah. And so I always try to now, try to make myself available to people, and try to like what they're saying. And when I try to like dread off, hold on, come back. You know what I'm saying? But the other day when I did do it with my son, we both was thinking. But I got very, very quiet, and he knew at that moment he could call it. Mom, what you doing? Thinking, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just, it's very important for you to go back in and heal those spaces, so you can be able to express when you are in that space, or why you're in that space, so people can help you along the way, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, and you went straight into the solution, which we haven't
oh, I'm so
touched on.
sorry.
Nope,
Oh,
nope,
I'm so
you're
sorry.
nope, nope, you're good. Nope, you're good. Nope, you're good. You're fine. I experienced all of those things as well growing up, and 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 because I experienced all of these growing up, I just developed a tendency to just cut people out of my life without an explanation. I just got to a point to where enough was enough, and then I just cut people out of my life because I dealt with it so much growing up. I didn't feel that I needed to deal with it in my adulthood. And and it was hard for my family when I cut my mom out of my life because of these issues that we had growing up, and because I was healing from the abuse that I have um, been through in my life. And in order for me to do that, I had to cut out all abusers. And she was one of the main culprits. And so she got cut out, but people couldn't respect those boundaries that were put in place. So this is what the article said for solutions. It says, make others feel included. To foster inclusivity, actively listen to others, respect their opinions, and make them feel valued. Create a welcoming environment where everyone feels comfortable participating and sharing their thoughts. This involves being mindful of your communication, both verbal and nonverbal, and making a conscious effort to include others in conversations and activities. And so it gave a more detailed breakdown. And the first one was active listening and communication. And it says pay attention. And after you pay attention, ask questions, summarize and reflect, use inclusive language, provide feedback. And then for creating a welcoming environment, it says be approachable, share personal experiences, organize inclusive activities, recognize and celebrate diversity, promote psychological safety, and we're going to concentrate on those two before we go into the last and before we go into the last one. So Auntie Janisha, just focusing on the last two, are those things that you have done with others or felt that others have done for you?
Yes, both of them. But because I've experienced um, loneliness and longing to be apart, while at the same time just wanting to watch, because
Mhm.
it is totally straight down the middle. I want to be a part, but I want to be a part of it my way. And sometimes that's really not like I'm a parallel player, right? Um, my biggest thing has been, okay, I'll go back to the beginning. Because I've felt the loneliness, I
Mhm.
have basically, to put it simply, what you were just saying, try to imagine how other people feel. So I do with the inclusion. Um, I used to be a team coordinator for a Boys and Girls Club, and all of the other counselors and the director told me that I was the best one that they had, and I already knew why. It's because none of the children were left out, none of my young people. I was the only adult with all of these teams, and everything that we did was a team sport, or it was a team. Like I always kept everybody engaged because I knew how it felt to be left out or chosen last or picked on and all this stuff. So it's more for me imagining how I would feel and also understanding how it feels.
Mhm.
So to sum all of those up, it's really how to treat people how you want to be treated.
Right. Auntie Michelle, I know you already went into your solution, but provided from what I just read, um, how do you do that, or have it been has it been done to you, where you've people have made you feel included? I know you said that your kids do and
Of
your siblings
course.
do,
I'm
but
a I'm
what
a
about outside
Aquarius.
of that?
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. Like I accept my weirdness. So yeah, of course I don't fit in a box, duh. But until you really understand who you are and why it's probably important for you not to be fit in these boxes, or because you know universe tends to protect us and we don't know how and when they're protecting us. We feel that way, but it was a protection really built around you. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So sometimes those situations to be discluded from certain things like with the popular crowd or this, that, and other probably kept you from some very, very bad situations or direction of your destiny. So yeah, I felt like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of kids. I'm gonna go off the limb and say even some of those popular kids or whatever, 90% of kids feel that way. They
Right.
come to that, they come into that, they encounter it. So one way or the other, it could be some people, and it seems like it's interesting you, but you really ain't never had a lot of experience with that thing. I'm gonna say that thing, and you gonna try to include yourself in that thing to try to get an interest in it, but the people was already far ahead in that thing, kind of, it seems like, yeah, they're pushing you out the circle because you ain't caught up to even hold the conversation about that thing. It can be as small as things like that. So I'm pretty sure everybody have really felt that. I think that's a universal thing, of feeling that loneliness. But when you grow, like, well, all of us have healed and went into the healing. Now you understand why to put up boundaries, and you understand why you didn't supposed to go further in that door with that thing. Why you needed to feel lonely, but it wasn't a bad thing. You got to look at the goodness of it. So now you looked at them people, with no moments where you thank God. You know what I'm saying? You that got up a little older. Ooh wee, I thought it's that, but you know what I'm saying? You wanted to be friends with that particular person. You wanted to be included in that thing what those family members was doing. And then you catch wind of how that group of people really act, or a lot, you know,
You're
some
right.
things that you really ain't much want to even want to take on. So you have to look at the overall when, and for the audience out there, if you're healing from this, kind of look back and kind of reflect on when it happened, and you want to grow from that, but you want to also look at the greatness what came about that. It ain't
Right.
always necessarily bad to be discluded from something. It's not necessarily bad.
Right.
I done
Right.
heard people when I went through, religion factors, and they couldn't figure out why they wasn't included, or they couldn't do what the other people did, or that relationship. Why did that person push me off? Why did that person keep pushing me away? It's not always bad. It was protection there, and we tend to forget that part of life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I do try to make others feel included, and I do have to work on the listening part. Um, like I always say, I'm a work in progress, and sometimes too, it's hard for me because um, I just go right into what I'm thinking and I don't always give people an opportunity to finish their thought. And that is something that I am aware of and that I am working on it. So I want to apologize for those I have done that too. And and then we're going to go into the last four. So number 3 is um s- specific actions for inclusion. And it says remember names and details, be mindful of your nonverbals, seek out diverse perspectives, offer support and mentorship, address inequalities. And then the last one, recognizing when inclusion is working. People participate actively, different perspectives are valued, people feel comfortable being themselves, there's a sense of belonging. So I I wanted to ask this question now that we have gone through all of those steps. And I want to go back to the 6 ways you were raised to feel alone. And I want to ask, and I'll start with Auntie Janisha. Auntie Janisha, have you
Mm-hmm.
ever um, silenced your children's voices, or do they ever feel that you've silenced their voices?
No, that's not something that they've expressed to me.
Okay.
Um, if anything, they're, I won't say too vocal, although I do believe there is a certain thing. There's a thing. I think they've been allowed a freedom to speak, and they have tended to throw anything like it, throw it all at the wall and whatever sticks, kind of thing, when they
Okay.
feel cornered or just want to have their way. And that's even
Okay.
in adulthood. They just come up with stuff.
Okay.
So no, not suppression at all, because that's what happened with us. So I was
Right.
very intentional about not suppressing them, allowing them the opportunity to have choices, make choices, talk to me, and even not, how there are. I've seen parents who they get defensive or even jealous if their children are using other people to
r-
bounce things off of and stuff like that.
Right.
There's been times when I would send my, I'll say case in point, Auntie Michelle, who's on the line, when my daughter, a couple of times when we were out doing school shopping, I would tell Auntie Michelle, tell her you pick this out, and then she would accept the outfits or whatever. So I was always open to other people assisting me with my children, because it was important that they understand that there was always somebody to talk to,
Mm.
an outlet, even if it wasn't me, which was
Mhm.
always encouraged, but you don't have to use me. Just don't sit around and soak in it, kind of thing.
Okay.
So no, they were not suppressed.
Okay. So consciously and subconsciously you've you've always listened to them and made them feel included and made them feel that they were important. That is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes. And
Oh,
I'll even throw this in there for anybody who's have younger kids at home. Even starting different programs, like I would create things for my children to be a part of with other children, with their cousins, with, there was always something. It wasn't just throwing a party, but I would actually create groups, and we go to the science museum, different stuff that they could be a part of because I anticipated their needs and that they didn't just always want to hang out with me. So
mhm.
I had other kids around too that they could, so I could enjoy my children. They could enjoy me without me being um, that hovering mom, just always um, isolating them from other people. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I could be present.
Okay. Auntie Michelle, the same question to you.
Well, no, my kids always express to me that they're happy that I allowed them to express their feelings, get it out, because I know, like just like Auntie Judge needs to just explain, we was raised by the older generation, it's like um my way, the highway, and I don't think that's cool. You shouldn't feel freely to express yourself, and let's discuss this because we're not our kids' biggest influences. And the thing about it is,
Right.
I need to be more, I need it for you to be allowed to speak to me of what you're feeling so I can kind of direct you. And that was the thing what Auntie Janisha did teach me with my kids, that she would teach me, if she was there with the raising of my kids, that village. So I'd be like, go talk to whoever. Like, my oldest daughter is a Virgo. One of my oldest siblings is a Virgo. I always encourage her to go talk to her. I'm not an earth sign. Luckily, I got the rest of them as air signs and I can understand them. And not as much as that on certain things, not as much as that little earth sign of mine. And it be
Right.
like that. It's okay. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. So we have to not be scared that other people can bring influence, but if you close them off, sometimes they'll go find influence that is you're not gonna really you really not going to what's the word I'm looking for? You would not actually,
Maybe approve of or
yeah,
appreciate.
you ain't gonna appreciate that information. You try to, I used to get chastised by my mother because of how hopefully I would let my kids express themselves or the things that discussions we can have, with certain things. And if you don't do it with them, somebody else will. And you
Mhm.
never want to get, somebody to take that away. That could be very, very damaging to you and that child's relationship. So yeah, I got one that she got an attitude. But the thing about it is, I'd be like, come, I had to take a different approach because I had to go to Auntie Janisha, Auntie Marva, and the other auntie. And I all asked them, like, what am I doing wrong? And they was like, no, just let her, but, just kind of mold her into having a better conversation. When she was younger, I didn't have that problem. As she evolved into her self, older, that's when the fullness of that came on, and it hurt her even in the workplace. So those are things where I can say the rest of them was clear understanding, and we got to understand it. Like, okay, how can we move forward with this? And that's with that village helping me. This is not stuff that giving that open floor. And yeah, that was that village. That was my village helping me along the way of raising my kids. Like,
Yeah.
let them have a voice. They do have a voice. They're little people. Even one of my elder aunties said they're just little people. Let them speak. And I had to remember that. And I had to remember also when I wasn't being heard, I went to people would hear me, but they have good intentions for me.
Mm.
May I add
You
something?
see where that could go?
Sure, sure, Auntie Janisha, go ahead.
So, another thing that I hope encourages someone out there. So there was the creating the programs for your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's so many resources in your area. I'm almost certain of it. I don't know where you are, guys, but just look around for all the different programs that's even given by like our local power plant had a hands-on little thing that the kids and families could go. And it's an interactive park was inside of our power plant.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But the other thing is, I learned this concept. We were kind of already living it as a family because I do have siblings. But if I had not had siblings, I don't know that I would have thought to do this. So when I was going through my womanhood development, and I was fully an adult when I did this, our Jetna, which is almost the equivalent of a um, mentor, but we don't use that term in African culture. The Jedna, she told us that we should be assigning our aunties and uncles to our children, not waiting for somebody to participate with them how it just normally is. That you tell people that, hey, you're going to be the uncle to my son. You're going to be, and rarely will people tell you no, but obviously you've watched people and you know who to assign and you know what their skills are as to what your children's needs are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that as I was starting, because I took my son out of school when he was in seventh grade and started homeschooling, didn't know what I was doing. So all of that prior stuff with the creating the programs and whatever came in handy. And then I was learning that about the assigning at the same time. And it caused me to then look at people, what do I need? Because I don't fully know how to homeschool him. I have some knowledge because I was teaching, but I didn't know all things, right? I
Right.
went and told people that I knew that had skills, hey, this is what I need you to do for my son. I'm homeschooling him. And not one of my people, this is how you know you have real friends, said, no, I don't have time. They showed up. And then they showed up a year later when I actually started a whole homeschool with other children. Um, so it's assigning people to be the thing that you need is what I'm suggesting here.
Mm.
It's very effective.
Okay. That's very good. I like that. So I did not have this wisdom when I became a mom. I was a young teenage mom trying to get through high school. And there have been several times when I have silenced my child's voice, mainly when I was doing homework and I needed to concentrate, and she just wanted my attention. And I I'm the type of person that when I have something in my head and I'm focusing on, that's all I can focus on at that moment. And so and it never failed because any other time she'd be on a different part of the house playing with her toys, um reading her books or whatever. But the moment I sat down to do homework, that's when she wanted my attention. It's like she had radar that I was getting ready to do homework, and she would just come and just want to talk with me and sing to me, and I'm trying to get homework done. And so then what I started doing is I would give her a coloring book. So while I'm doing my homework, I would give her a coloring book and tell her that's her homework. And I'm like, okay, it's time for us to
Mhm.
do our homework. And then I can focus on my homework and get my homework done. And so I was
That's
listening. Oh, go ahead, Auntie Janisha.
no, I was just gonna say that's great. Like you started off by saying you didn't have the knowledge, you didn't know, but it kind of just comes to you, right? And that's the
Yeah,
beautiful thing about it, because yeah, it does.
yeah,
None of us, like they said, we're not given a blueprint to parenting. You just kind of get thrown in there. You have 9 months kind of to prepare, but it is really just getting thrown into an on-the-job training.
yeah,
So you sound like you did pretty good right there.
I
yeah.
want
That
to add to that,
Hmm.
if you don't
go,
mind.
go ahead, Auntie Michelle.
I have the other parent to my bridge of kids would ignore, and I would catch the flat for this. One of the kids ended up in counseling and all kind of things. And similar to your situation, I had to learn how to deal with that. And it's a young child with don't know how to express his feelings. Trying to get it out. I don't really, you really don't know how to direct it. But it was more or less, I had to start grabbing him and holding him and said, "I love you," and just give him that attention. None of my other kids did that, but that was one of the part of the things, because I was at my weight where I was trying to go to medication. I was trying, and Auntie Journey used to talk me off that ledge. Cause I was like, baby, I can't deal with this no more. I'm ending up in the hospital because shoving stuff down. I mean, everything for attention, dangerous things for attention. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I'm like, what? I don't know what to do with this. You know, that's the fear of a mother. But then you just try to find ways to cope. And yeah, we worked it out and grown. Those labels, what they tried to say, ain't even it. Was not even it.
yeah,
Was
yeah,
not there, and didn't eat no medication. We changed the diet a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of him with other things. Yeah. But that was a fight. It was a huge fight.
mm,
Hmm.
yeah. So you know, all of this is to say, there there there's no yeah there yes, we make mistakes as parents, as humans, as as friends, as sisters, as brothers, as aunties, as uncles, as parents, grandparents, whatever. But it's how we deal with those mistakes and how we come back from those mistakes, because I'm sure that even though even even though they were dealing with their own mental illness, that um that our parents, our parental guides, didn't mean to make us feel excluded or isolated, and I can't remember if it was Auntie Michelle or Auntie Janisha who said they were just doing what they were taught to do, what was happening to them when they were growing up. They didn't, they didn't go, oh, there's a better way that I could do this, or there's a different way that I could do this. And it's a generational thing. I feel that each generation just adds a different piece to being a better parent, and to making children feel included, and to make them feel that their voices are heard. And so the last article that I found is was put out by esports.org, and it is the 5 steps to emotionally include someone. And the first step is number one is after sharing yourself, focus on the other person with questions. Number two, find common ground. Number three, encourage the others in the group to take responsibility. Number four, actively listen to them. And the last one, number five, listen to remember. I I really need to work on that last part. Listen to
Hmm.
remember. There, I don't know if it's part of my autism, but there are some things that when when I'm listening to people, there are some things that I remember, and there are other things that I totally don't remember. My my friend and I were having a conversation, and she was telling me about a conversation we had about 3 years ago, and I was like, "Really? None of this rings a bell. I don't remember having this conversation at all." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I really, really don't." So I need to work on that listening to remember. Auntie Janisha, is there anything from this list that you feel that you need to work on, or do you pretty much have this list down?
Oh no, ma'am. I'm with you on that. But it's not the listening to remember because I actually do try to remember. And when I was teaching, first of all, let me give you grace because trying to remember a conversation from 3 years ago, I don't know the nature of it, but I'm just saying it was 3 years ago.
Right.
But when I was teaching, I could not remember these kids' names. And I finally, it hit me like memory has never been um, one of my strong points.
Yeah.
And it's not for the lack of trying, it's just never been. And I used to even joke like I have a smoker's memory and I don't even smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, so I started giving myself grace on that. And so all the young people, if I remember their name, but if I didn't, they were young man, young lady, ma'am, sir, and that was also very respectful.
Yes.
Um, so whatever my strong points were, that's what I accentuated. But that right there, I stopped tripping over it because it was causing me grief. And
Mm.
what it did was I would call them the wrong name, and that to me is worse because my name is Johnisha. So sometimes when I was a student and somebody mispronounced my name, an adult usually calling
Yeah.
the attendants, that was one of those disrespectful things that I did. Didn't do much, but that was one. I would just sit there. Yeah, I'm absent today because you didn't say my name properly, and I would think about that when I'm calling a kid and it's coming out of my mouth and I know I'm not saying the right thing, but that's
Right.
what came up. So I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's memory for me. And it's a on a side note, I have read and studying psychology, some of my issues and trauma negatively affects my memory.
Mm.
And it does it in a lot of people. It affects memory. There's a lot
Yeah.
of suppression that goes on. So there's that.
Yeah. And see, I'm better with faces than I am with names. So I will tell someone if someone comes up and says hi to me and I don't introduce you, it's not that I'm being rude, it's that I don't remember their names.
Hmm.
So I just let them know. And I tell people it's going to take me a couple of times to remember your name. I'll remember your face all day long, but I'm not going to always remember your name. So, Auntie Michelle, how about you? How are you with this list? Do you got it, or are there things that you need to work on?
Honey, I just told you I'm working on listening and standing tuned. And so what I do is ask questions through a conversation. But Auntie
So, Auntie,
Janisha
you
can
weren't
tell
listening.
you.
See, it's Auntie that needs to work on listening. Seeing you
So
when you said the first time.
Right? I didn't even remember what she said like 3 minutes ago.
oh yeah. It's okay. Because she do it to me a lot. And I be like, Auntie, I just said it to you. Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? But I be like, Lord, okay. But I just push it off on that OD thing. But hey, I mean, I'll give you passes, my dog. I'll give you passes. But
Thank you for the passes because your auntie needs them.
I know you don't mean no harm. But I need to tell you, even when I fly off like that and you be talking to me, I can tell you what that whole conversation is about. And I don't even know how I do that. But y'all know I will mess up a name in a heartbeat. Even little Pluto over there. I'm sorry. You know? Hey,
She,
it is what it is. And I be messing and I will remix somebody's name. And them people just go with the flow. And I don't know how I can escape in 43 years of my life that people still just accept what I call. And I don't mean no harm. They be just like, what's up?
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Their name. And mom was like, correct. Auntie Mama was correcting me. His name is and I call him and I said, see, he answers. What is your problem? What is your problem? Because apparently they don't have a problem with what, for instance, this is a
Mm-hmm.
little boy. What is your problem with it? Well, I'm like, look here, chick. The mama ain't straight me. We cool. That's a you problem. That's not a us problem. We clicked in over here. You
Yeah,
know? You know.
yeah.
But I will hit you with that. Hey, sweetie. Hey, baby. That southern thing, I hit you with that in a minute. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad man ain't knocked my head off yet. Cause everybody go, what's it, baby? Come here, sugar. Even before I got to the age to call people sugar and baby. They were sugar and baby.
Right,
But they
right,
be happy. I leave them with a smile. I don't see the issue.
right. Well, that is all that I had for that topic. Thank you for that topic, Auntie Janisha. Now, you heard what AI and some of the articles had to say about your topic. How did you think they did with your topic? Did they do good, bad, and or not even? Well, you did say that AI was close to what you wanted to say, but what about the articles?
I think those are pretty good. I don't think that we talked about insulation as much, but what we did talk about, I think, was on point. It was what was needed apparently.
Yeah, the insulation one was harder to find because, like I said, it kept bringing up housing stuff.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
one was
figured.
a
Yeah.
little bit harder to get it find stuff on for this particular topic. But yeah, so but that was a good topic, and thank you for that. So we're going to
You
head.
all,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add one thing because we ended up talking about parenthood, and I do think that spirits gave us children that would challenge us in and help us with these areas to let us really see. Because it was Auntie Michelle, you said one of us had said something about our parents and their intent. Um, Being a parent yourself, if you're thoughtful, you'll understand that no, it's not easy, and you're gonna make mistakes. And no, they didn't mean to harm us. Many parents.
Yeah.
So there's that. But our children teaches us things, and I know that mine, because when I being a loner growing up and more quiet, my children taught me and gave me a reason to be more outgoing and um, express myself more
Mm-hmm.
than I was.
Right.
So they give us they make us bold in ways that we need to be if we will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They make you can start seeing you grow in ways you never thought you would grow before. One of my little cousins said to me, my other cousin just had a baby. She was like, yeah, she got this whole map out of how this child is gonna be raised. I bust out laughing. And it was not to defend her at all. It's just baby you want that saying You want to tell God what you got? You want to make God laugh? Tell him what you got playing. Because, baby, they come out
Mhm.
and you don't even understand the personality. You don't understand the lingo. Hey,
Yeah,
that's a whole nother job. A whole nother job. I'd be
yeah.
like,
Yeah, I remember when I was a nanny, and one of the families that I was a nanny for, she went to the store, and there was a little girl. She was around two, having a tantrum in the store, and she came home and she told me about it. She was like, my daughter will never act like that in the store. And I just said, okay, you let me know your reaction when it happens.
mm-mm.
I said,
They
just let
would
me
test.
just let me know your reaction when it happens. And when it happened, she was like, I said, what was your reaction? She was like, I just stood there and looked at her because I was just so shocked. I'm like, yeah, yeah. It happens the first time you tell them no in the store. Yep, they're gonna throw themselves on the ground and start kicking, screaming, and hollering. Yep. She's like, "What do you do when she does that?" I'm like, "I just walk away from, act like I don't know who she is." I'm like, "I don't know whose child that is."
I don't know
She's
why
like,
they get in public to test that one. I don't get it.
she's like,
You,
she's like, "You walk away from my baby?" I'm like, "I sure do." I said, "You act a fool in the store. I'm gonna walk away from you too."
Okay. Anybody can
Mm-hmm.
get it.
no, I put on that
Right.
strong black mama voice. Hey, here,
Mm-mm.
It
look
depends
here.
on the kid.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Sometimes that
Mm-mm.
walking away is what's needed. Sometimes the jacking
Yep.
up is what's needed. Pop,
Yep.
No,
pop,
I don't
or
jack up.
some of them.
I put that bass in my voice, like my grandson. See, when
Hmm.
me and him be together, it be all cool. My dog sit down and be chilling while I'm handling business, best friends, locked in, quiet. No got home training, but boy, I go out with him and mama and look, little boy, what you doing? And he coming right on down because I have to let him know, yo, mama ain't running this show. Don't do that. Cause we don't show. We don't do. Do we do that? No, no, ma'am. Are you gonna continue doing that? No, no, ma'am. Okay. See,
Yeah,
I
it
ain't that
depends
little
on the
soft
kid.
mama.
It
Yeah.
depends on the
Yeah,
kid because some of
you
them
gotta
Really
you
see.
does.
got to put the
Yeah.
hands to them. Some of them it's a look, and some of them it's your voice. And yeah,
Yep.
some of them you walk right away because they're
Yep.
looking for attention. So yeah, you
Yep.
standing there is exactly what they want. So
Yep.
no,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
do that by
Nope.
yourself, pal.
Yep. And then the moment she stopped, when she realizes that I'm at the end of the aisle hiding, peeking around, looking at her, and when she realizes that I'm not there or nobody's there, then she stops and then she starts calling me. And
Starlight,
I'm right here. I'm like, "Oh, are we done? Are we ready to act like a little girl again?"
That it
Because
was finished.
I don't deal with wild banshees. Are we done? Oh, okay. Let's
Right.
go. Let's keep it moving. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. No. But let's get into our segments because our time is, how our time is just goes by so fast. So for our loving connections, building better relationships, we are creating a memory wall. And so, Auntie Marva didn't was it here to I forgot to ask her about our career corner. So we will go to what were they thinking? So Auntie Janisha, what do you have for what were they thinking?
oh my. So this one is kind of an advertisement, but it's um unintentional.
Uh-oh.
Right. So Sprite has this new flavor. It's Sprite with tea.
Huh?
I don't understand. Yes, Sprite with tea. Find your Sprite bottles, and there's a brown one in the lineup. That is it might taste good. I'll give them that. But yeah, no, I don't think
It
I'll be
is
trying that.
good because
You
I done
put
had it
tea.
twice. I don't know what's wrong with you. First, it's the little biscuits over there.
I don't mind
Our
biscuits.
English brothers and sisters ain't gave us. Now it's the tea. I like the strike tea. I like it.
Well, it
I don't
sounds
No,
know.
good to me.
uh,
You
uh,
are
I would like.
missing.
So
You
guess
are
what?
not in the midst.
Then
no,
it's double. I'd like to know what they're thinking, and I also want to know what you thinking, cause
no,
it
I
just is
wanted to know
weird to
what it
me.
tastes like.
uh,
And guess what? Auntie, it was good.
was it good? No, let's back up, Auntie Michelle, because first it was her dissing my Queen Latifah, which my show got canceled, and I blame you, Auntie Janisha. I blame you for my show
She did
being
tell me that.
Because
canceled.
they knew they shouldn't have done that in the first place, and they must
No,
have listened to our show and all the points that I
that's
made
what,
about why not. Because I
and
love
that,
Queen,
and
but
that's why
no, I
I'm
also
blaming you.
love the Equalizer.
That's why
They
I'm
shouldn't have
blaming
did
you
that.
that my show got canceled. It's all your fault because your negativity
That's right.
against my Queen
I
Latifah.
I bet my negativity was stronger than her uppercut because that was not believable on that doggone show.
It was believable.
Now
Uh-huh.
it
But you know
stop
what?
it.
But you know what? She's starting a new campaign, and I'm jumping on her, and I'm gonna be, and I'm the first one. I may not be the first one, but I'm gonna be in the top 20 of her new campaign. She's starting this new journey, and it's to
I heard about that.
bring awareness
So
to plus
beautiful.
size. Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Yes,
it's to
so
do what
That
beautiful.
again?
that to bring awareness to plus size um people, and that they can do things. They
I
don't
thought we
have to
already did
just
that.
no, she no,
No,
this is a whole new it's a whole new movement. This is an all
I'm with you,
inclusive.
Queen.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
with
with
you
Auntie
too.
Destiny. I'm with Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
I
All
heard
right, I
about that.
support
Wrote
us
that.
being big boned, but I'd rather us be healthy as well. Not that
No,
us
yeah,
big folks ain't healthy, but at the same time, we do need to there needs to be balance as
but
usual,
that no, but
not
that is
just
the
be
thing.
comfortable
No, but that is
in.
the thing. But that's the thing
Okay,
she's saying though, is that just because you're a bigger size doesn't mean you're not healthy. Because she even made the point. She knows skinny people that are less healthier than that's very unhealthy.
Yep.
that is absolutely true.
Yeah. So that is the awareness that she's bringing.
Cause
So
I'm confused. You know, when they be talking about the people over there in third world countries, they're
mhm.
unhealthy. The people over here, was heavy said, we're unhealthy. Can you make up your mind who gonna be healthy and who not gonna be unhealthy? I'm just like, what?
You know what? Oh, that's a lot of wind. Do y'all got your windows
Sorry,
down?
I just got
Oh,
out
that
to let her walk. I'm in a
Yeah, oh, now I can't hear you.
I can't hear her either.
Any,
Yeah,
are you
not.
able to mute me?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I probably can mute you. No, I can't mute you. You have to mute
Okay,
yourself.
hang on. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So, so our next segment is I see you, I hear you. So parents gather all your children, grab a calendar, sit together and pick a night to spend 1 hour doing an activity. And Auntie Janisha, it's back to you for Auntie's bookshelf. I think I
Okay,
think
can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I've been on this being of my older age right now, I've been really on my money kick. Um I don't think our listeners know that I have retired a few years ago. It was premature, so I'm working again. But I have since understood that I didn't really even retire to be retired because I just stopped doing what I was doing to be a farmer. So that's not retired at all. But however, I've been really on this kick to catch up financially for my real retirement. And so I've been on these finance blogs and podcasts and books and stuff. And one of the books I really love that I encountered is um, um, The Richest Man in Babylon. And I know some of y'all probably heard of that book if you haven't read it. Um, or if you don't have time to read, I actually caught it on audio, but it's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Very good read. It's a story actually, but there's a lot of good points to learn. And it's by George Samuel Clayson, and it was actually written in 1926, and it's still one of those very, it's timeless. 1926 by George Samuel Clayson, and it's The Richest Man in Babylon. Back to
Okay.
you guys.
Okay. That's it for this segment. So we're gonna head into open topic. And I only have one thing for open topic. I've been getting all of these things on my YouTube about the Latino community being mad at us because we didn't protest with them, and being mad at us because we're not immigrants, and all this other crazy stuff. So I just wanted to hear what you guys have to say about that, because a lot of it is happening out in your neck of the woods in Florida. So, Auntie Michelle, you want to go first?
You know what? Okay, look. Me personally feels we have been more, and a lot of people may agree or disagree. I know my community of people. I know us. I lived in South Florida. I'm an '80s baby. I remember when those people came in. Um, I even told the story to a group of people the other day. What was in this discussion, and I will repeat it. I remember when they came in and they was trying to find work and get themselves settled here. A lot of those people was coming in new, and I remember my grandparents, where they were still connected with the orange fields, and they were still connected in construction and all these things right here.
Hmm.
They helped them. Did I hear people laughing and joking about these people? Yes, people tend to pick at things that the culture shock, the certain things they was doing at home that they brought here through like the Spanish community or the Haitian community, African community. We was taught not to do that. We was taught to embrace them. Again, I'm an '80s baby, so I remember a lot of the Pan African movements through different world, Cosby Show, different black outlets shows when I grew up watching. I remember them embracing and encouraging our community to embrace, especially the ones where was of black skin, but also the black and brown movement. Um, I remember the era of them going over there for Nelson Mandela when things was going down over in Kenya and different things like that. That people from here go over there. I remember my grandma packing up clothes and different things what she would buy for yard sales and stuff and send it over. Have people ship it over. Donations out my household. So I was taught to respect. I was strongly with the Pan African movement. So I was all about the kumbaya. I done dated from Jamaican to Haitian. I seen them as us. The shock of all this right here, it broke my heart to know how people really felt about us. It really broke my heart that we could not make this work. It broke my heart that people look at our fight and our struggle, don't really, they really have no any grace to our ancestors and people were still living with fought that movement of civil rights for these people to be able to endure and come over here and have the opportunity. And I have watched people around in my community try to help and embrace them and treat them as one. We never try to shove them out the community or whatever. It was very welcoming. Ignorance lies everywhere. When I started hearing those stories, like, yeah, our parents or the government tell us to stay away from y'all because y'all are this, that, and other. And they still got the same talking points. We're lazy. We're this, that, and other, and that's what you think of me. And a lot of people have showed you otherwise. That right there is very hurtful. And I'm one of those people that say I'm not getting up. I'm not going to help the movement. I'm not that I don't know. I got to fall back. I got to think about us, and I am now eliminate myself from that conversation. So this will be the last time I really try to talk about it.
Okay.
What's going on with that? Because I have found myself where it's time for it. Is this was needed? This was needed, and I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we got to see the truth of how people feel about us. And I think my community of people need to just really focus on themselves and build. We have put on the cake for too many people where have came back and spit in our face. Especially and I remember in the when I started having my kids around I had to be a baby, so it was around 99. Bush was in chair. He did something with the it was something going on in Florida with the Spanish community. I remember it was black people went out there and rallied for them then. And for them to be online calling us all kind of N words and all these, using very negative and nasty, um, saying that nasty, hateful things to us because
Hmm.
they can't have their way with us anymore. That was when it dawned on me like they took our kindness for weakness because a lot of people in our community embraced, but it was only coming from one sided. And I don't see people even get up in the government and they fought against our reparations. They fought against this. They allowed themselves to be used. And I said this the other day that I tried to excuse like from the slave trade of people who had to come in through the slave trade. And I really did not want to believe that these people really sold us like that. But the what's showing on the offsprings, I definitely get it that because the apple don't fall far from the tree. But I think this movement was needed now. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. And I made peace with it.
Okay. Auntie Janisha.
Um, I'm of a different, slightly different age demographic than Auntie Michelle. Like she said, we were taught to respect people and not accost them and act a fool and whatever. And I will, I believe that a lot of how we did treat people and embrace people goes back to the conversation that we had earlier, what the show is about. Because of our trauma, we have, myself and my siblings, treated people with kindness in general, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
didn't matter that they appeared to have less or came from somewhere else or whatever. Um, we were also by our mom taught our African self. So as far as for me, I've always recognized that they were me. They just happened to grow up on that island. I grew up on this one. And yes, I'm calling this continent an island because it's all whatever. They're land masses, right?
Right.
Um, so no, again, being picked on, y'all, I wasn't gonna pick on folks. So yeah, coming up in the 80s, I was in elementary school. I did see a lot of us. Auntie Michelle didn't say this, but I did see a lot of people that look like me, that look like them, picking
Mm-hmm.
on, especially the Haitian students. I remember that. And then in the 90s, it became cool to be Haitian and Zoe and all of this
I
stuff,
did
right?
say that. I said it that they
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
was
about
doing it.
people picking on people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I did say it.
my thing was with this whole thing, because of the recognizing them as me and us and all the stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
know that parents, just like we are just talking about our parents, they meant well. Their parents meant well when they said don't hang out with the Black Americans because the media that they get, I know it has to be horrible because the media that we get on us over here is horrible.
Right.
So what else do they have to go on if they've never encountered us? So they're instructing their children the best way they knew how to keep them safeguarded and just coming to get an education or a job or whatever. I give them that grace. But to Auntie Michelle's point was that a lot of the after encountering us in different settings, how do you still hold those thoughts?
Right.
How do you still have those attitudes?
Right.
So I've encountered some of that, but more often than not, I've encountered people who feel like me. We've had great conversations. I don't I haven't met many people that really turn their nose down and all the stuff, but I know which circles I walk into. I go into those spaces that we're actually trying to be together and do things for self.
Right.
I would imagine some people who feel that they've met this person, that one, maybe it was corporate or out there, people just living their life. But the circles that I've gone when I've encountered them is like volunteering and trying to be together and doing things on behalf of Pan Africanism and stuff like that. So I do understand that's why I have a different reality when it comes to it. Now, when you're asking about Hispanic people, Latin people, they, um, I don't, I see them as different than us. They're a whole nother group, but I also see them as being African too. Now, and I've always said, well, I think many of us recognize they just haven't always recognized that they are us.
Right.
Many of them classify themselves as white and all of that, and they code switch back and forth when it suits them. That's annoying,
Yeah.
but I don't have a dog in that fight on the surface. It ain't doing nothing to my life. So with this whole thing, I know I'm being wordy here, but there's a lot. It's a lot to unpack with dealing with it. I haven't been invested in it. I haven't felt the need to come out and publicly be against them and or even address their nastiness. Cause guess what? Y'all need to be focused on them people at y'all door, showing up at y'all job,
Right.
messing with y'all kids at school. Right?
Right.
Your attention is as many of them do it. Caucasian people do it. Everybody. It seems like we end up being a scapegoat for their anger. Why
Right.
y'all mad at us? We're not the ones actually doing anything to you right now. You're mad
Right.
because we're not helping you, but at the same time, that shouldn't be your focus. Your
Right.
focus should be safeguarding your family, talking about what you need to be doing, what documents you need to make sure you have on your person, stuff that's going to help you. Accosting us verbally is not really helpful because you ain't going to shame us into doing stuff that we've already tried to do.
Right.
We have tried to band with other people, but there's been so many moments in this country where Black people have been the target of this and that and the whatever. We haven't seen other demographics, by and large, coming out to support us. So I really don't see how anybody can twist their mouth to feel like we're supposed to be doing anything other than
Right.
what we are doing now. So I don't feel, I'm not angry at them. I'm really like feeling like they're crazy, kind of. Like y'all need to be focusing on your issues. We're not your issue.
Right.
We
That was
actually have a common enemy, quite honestly. It's a common enemy. So
yeah.
to turn in on people that actually are kind of where you are, because we're not running things and we didn't open these floodgates, right?
Right.
It's fruitless. It's fruitless. And
Yeah.
no, we're not budging.
Yeah. So my whole thing when I was getting all of these is like when did what put in their heads that we were immigrants? That's the part that I was having a hard time wrapping my head around
Well, me too.
because we didn't come, our ancestors didn't come to this country voluntarily. It's not like we came voluntarily or we came here because we were looking for a better life. That's not what happened with our ancestors. So this whole we thought you were immigrants and we thought you were be the ones being deported, that just that just boggled my mind. I'm like I don't
I
understand where that thinking came from.
You
Some
want to
of
know
us didn't
something?
come that way. Some of us actually
Some was sincere.
were, huh? No, I said some of us did not come that way. Some
Yeah.
of us have been circumnavigating the globe way before the transatlantic slave situation began. So some of us did
Yes.
come as we can say immigrants, but it wasn't called an immigrant. They were just traders and travelers,
Right.
right? Um,
Right.
so we got here all kind of ways. But the thing
But I
is,
want to
if
ask you a question
anybody
on
is an
that.
immigrant,
Wait,
there people are leaving out the fact that white people are the true immigrants because they were the ones that came last.
yes,
Because
Yes.
everybody else was already traveling around. That's
right,
I
documented even in European history books.
yeah,
I
They
want
came,
to
they are the immigrants. But
I
there
want
again,
to
the
ask you a
aggression
question.
is on us
okay,
rather
hang on,
than
Auntie
looking at
Michelle.
where it actually, who actually is an immigrant here. And why are they
Right,
getting a
Hey,
pass when we know they are really not from here? Even if you think other people may or may not, whatever, we do know who it really isn't, but nobody's saying that. So there
right,
again,
right.
I'm perplexed by their thinking. Like what?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Go ahead, Auntie Michelle.
because in the what it was like the 1700s when that guy erased when they did the whole erasure of us being a lot of dark skinned people being native, the whole erasure we all fell under the category of Negro. People here what didn't travel here. People here before America became America became the title of America. And so I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about a lot of people was here from either those three categories, like she just talked about, the explorers, the natives, black natives was here, or the ones what was the slave trade came here. Um, a lot of them will still they've been like, do you feel like they've been programmed to feel like they're immigrants without the way we get treated here and all those other things? Because my mom said that to me, we are all immigrants. I was like, baby, I'm not an immigrant. I'm looking at a one side of my lineage, and they never went into slave trade, nor it's falling there. The more I'm digging on that side, this one side, that will put me in a no, I'm not an immigrant. And if I was forcefully here, that was a crime. That's what you did. You did human trafficking. Again, makes me not an immigrant. So my question to you is what you feel about that?
Um, so due to time, um, I think this should we should just turn this into an actual show. It we'll make it a topic for an actual show. Why don't we do that? I'll do the research on it, and we'll do it for next month's show. How's that?
Yeah,
Because we're out of time right now. I would love to explore it right now, but we're just out of time right now.
yeah.
All
Okay.
right, if y'all want to, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of over
Yeah,
that
I'm
already.
really good. I'm good
But
on it. I just want
yeah,
to ask that
we
question
could
because
talk
we was
about it.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's not a quick answer, and we're already way over time. So
But
I'm
I did
sorry.
want to say something before we leave. I recommend everybody go look at this, especially parents. Please, please, please. I know it's hard to stomach this movie, what I'm going to recommend, but tell them I love you on Netflix. Parents, we really need to be aware that it is monsters that cosplay as angels. It is devils what really cosplay as, and that movie is very disturbing, but it is so needed for the human mind. And when you're dealing with your kids, especially our special needs kids, these people don't care, but we have to care enough to fight back. We have to care enough to step in. We have to care enough to tell somebody, put healthy boundaries on our kids, on ourselves, on our families. So yeah, I think that movie brought a lot of awareness and just made me kind of, question a lot of things, but also um try to educate the younger parents out here because I was a young parent and I was glad that people was around me to educate me. But those type of movies, I know you want to stay away from because it's so dark there. But if you don't understand the darkness, that's how people could get to dim the light on your children.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look. All right. Yeah. Everyone, look for that. Look for that movie. And again, Auntie Janisha, thank you for your topic. It was a really good topic. And thanks you for all our listeners for joining us again this month. And we look forward to being with you on a more regular basis. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you all. Love and light. Anyone
Peace
want to
and
say?
love, y'all.
All right. See you
Okay.
later.
On that note, Auntie Listen out.